Well, have you ever asked yourself what happens to whistleblowers after they've blown a whistle? What happens to their families? Who protects them? Who takes care of them? Who takes care of their bills and all that? Maybe this is one of the questions we should be asking ourselves and maybe start looking into how whistleblowers they live their lives after they've blown the whistle. This is MDN shows running with the times, but today we're running with the story of a South African police service whistleblower. Her name is Patricia Mashale, and she'll be joining me momentarily. She blew a whistle on SAPS going all the way back to 2009. Well, she's going to take us through her story, but most of all, she will be responding to some of the things that the SAPS are saying. They've come back and are hitting back saying she's just on a smear campaign and so and others. They're on a smear campaign against top officers, top cops. Well, whatever that is, we have an opportunity to find out from her, but we have an opportunity to engage, ask questions, but also really look into the plight of whistleblowers. After having interviewed a couple of whistleblowers by now, I only wonder how they fare, how they lead their lives after losing their jobs, after having to, like, for example, Patricia herself is in hiding. She's been in hiding for a while now. Have you ever asked yourself how she's doing? There are those who are saying, Patricia, stop. Whatever you're doing, you're painting a bad picture about our country, South Africa. But have you ever really taken time to understand where she's coming from? I have a question. Who would you trust? Or who do you trust? The car builder or the car salesman? In this case, in relation to the SAPS, who should we trust? The car builder, which is the SAPS, or the salesman, the saleswoman? Well, this is MDN shows running with the times only on Mdntv, and I am Major Daughter. We're running with the story, as I said. This story has been going and doing the rounds from one media to another. And today we have an opportunity to also engage with it. But most of all, who would you trust? The car builder or the car salesman? What happens to the whistleblower after they've blown the whistle? Who protects them? Who takes care of their families? Who takes care of their well-being? Who takes care of their bills? Because they're people like us. All these are questions that should be at the back of our minds as we engage on this story. Send your questions, send your comments, ask, share this broadcast, tell everyone it's happening right now, and meet us in the comments. We are live there. We'll be right back. Welcome back to those who just joined us. We're joined by Patricia Mashale, the SAPS whistleblower. Thanks a gazillion times for saying yes and for availing yourself to tell the world your story, but not only that, to also conscientize our communities and our townships and our cities, our nations on the things that are happening, maybe even right under our nose. So I want to honor you for your bravery. I think you're one of the bravest people I've ever met. And I really wonder where you get such bravery. please take this time to greet our global viewers and tell them who is Patricia Mashale. Patricia, the mic swings to you now.
Thank you so much, daughter. I just want to take the opportunity to greet all the viewers outside there in the global world. And I just want to thank you also, appreciate you for having me on the show to come and tell my story. Yes, I'm Patricia Mashale. I'm the whistleblower from the South African Police Service.
Tell us exactly what happened, where, when, who was involved, and do you have evidence? Were there any witnesses to support your story, to support your side of the story when all this happened? Because the SAPS has come out to say you're on a smear campaign. You're a disgruntled trauma employee. I mean, there's nothing we should even look into what you're saying. What have you got to say about that, Patricia?
Okay, fine. All this happened actually back in. I started to report corruption in the South African Police Service, specifically in Free State Province. I reported the Free State management, the corruption they have been committed. And after I reported the corruption, I was also retaliated upon. I was charges were formulated against me. I was charged departmentally. The allegations was that I was improperly appointed in the South African Police Service, and that I have a criminal record, and I was just charged from the Department of Health, where I was a student nurse. And all the I was at the departmental trial. That current National Commissioner Fannie Masemola was part of the people who prosecuted me. He was the Divisional Commissioner of HRM back then. My trial was not done normally in the Free State Province. My trial was handled by Fannie Masemola himself. And then I was dragged to a departmental trial, and all the allegations was found to be unsubstantiated, and I was found not guilty. And following that, I initiated civil claims against the former head of inspectorate, because he was actually the person who made all the allegations against me. So now you must remember, he's the head of inspectorate. He's the person who made the allegations against me. He's the one who investigated all the allegations. And he was also even a witness in my departmental trial. So I then went ahead and I initiated a civil claim against him personally. And then the court granted me the damages that I claimed from him. And then I also initiated a civil claim against the South African Police Service, which is currently in process. And then what I can say about a civil claim against that, Major General, he retired earlier this year as a Major General. The sheriff did attach his property, and they are in the process now to take the property and to sell it. And I can tell you that back then, you can even check the document that I sent to the court order that was granted against me. That is the proof that the case that the national commissioner said never went again because time frames were not met. The case was finalized. I won the case, and I initiated the civil claims against the persons who prosecuted me back then.
Well, let's talk about the time when you reported or when you started reporting these matters, what you were seeing there back in 2009? Did you ever feel insecure or threatened over your position? And how did you handle this one? Um, Tell us about it. What strengthened your resolve to go ahead and still report and still stand for the truth and still stand for what is right? I'll tell you why I'm asking this. We need to understand how the mind of a whistleblower works. What motivated you? What inspired you to stand up and become a whistleblower and report whatever that was going on? Do you have other employees who are also seeing the same thing, who could be witnesses, but they are afraid to come forward? What inspired you to stand and come forward with what you have come with? Patricia?
Of course, I feel threatened. As I said, I was charged departmentally for misconduct based on the fact that I report a wrongdoing by the management, and I would have been dismissed if they found those allegations that they made against me to be true. And the reason why I kept on blowing the whistle is because corruption is an evil. Corruption is a disease. And especially when it's done by officers of the law. So I decided that I will not stop, especially because they decided to prosecute me because I stood up for the truth. I decided I will not stop, I will proceed, and I will speak out against any kind of corruption, regardless of whatever consequences they are against me. Remember back then, the word whistleblower was a very strange word. I didn't even regard myself as a whistleblower. I regard myself as a truth teller. I was just standing up for the truth, and I was just standing up for the South African citizens in a whole, because if corruption are being committed by senior officials in the South African police service, meaning that we are sitting with criminals in the police service, how are they going to fight crime? And yes, there was witnesses who saw what is happening in the South African police service, but they were so afraid to speak out, to come out, because of the retaliation that usually happens against police officers when they stand up for the truth. They do what they did against me. They will formulate charges against you, and they will charge you, and they will dismiss you the moment you stand up against them. But I decided that I can say with a clear conscience that my hands are clean. There's nothing they can bind me with to say that we will find something against her, to charge her with there is something that's done wrong somewhere. I knew that taking them on, I'm taking them on as someone who are truthful, who never committed corruption, and who just stood up for the truth and just wanted to do the right thing.
It is sad. In every lie, there's an iota of truth. And it's been said in this case that you're just blowing hot air, you're disgruntled, you're just on a smear campaign like others, not you alone, there are also others on this smear campaign. Tell us, how did your superiors handle these reports you were bringing to them and the revelations of what was really happening in the police service? Patricia?
You know what? As I said, the superiors themselves are being implicated. In all my disclosures, I implicate the superiors. So when I recently blew the whistle on the Free State Management to the former National Commissioner, the management is implicated. So the former national commissioner, after I consulted with him and informed him about what is happening in the Free State provincial management, he advised me to put it in a formal complaint as a protected disclosure and attach all the evidence that I have. If there's witness statements, I must attach everything, and then I must email it directly to him. That's what I did on the 6th of January 2021. I emailed it to him. Afterwards, I called him to confirm whether he received it. He confirmed that he received it. And let me say, a month thereafter, I was then retaliated upon. And I was so shocked because I expected that the national commissioner would protect me because I made this protected disclosure to him. I expected the national commissioner to act upon the serious allegations that I make against the Free State management, but the national commissioner is the one who actually revealed my identification to the very people, the very management that I implicated in the report that I sent to him, and he never protected me. He never acted against me. I sent several emails to him after I was even charged departmentally for spreading, like they say, spreading false allegations against the sub management. I inquired from him why I now being charged departmentally for misconduct, and he referred me back to the provincial commissioner, which I also implicated, to say I must go and ask her, why am I now charged departmentally? My response to him was, but General Sitole, how can you refer me back to the very person that I also implicated? The discussion between you and me was that I should forward a report to you, and you will be the one to make determinations. And now here I am being prosecuted again, and you refer me back to the people that I reported to you. General Sitole never did anything. None of my superiors protected me. Instead, I was prosecuted by my superiors.
So, Patricia, the SAPS have responded. They say you are simply driving a smear campaign, and this is from the article by the Daily Maverick. They say you're driving a smear campaign. You are given an opportunity uh, to be declared a whistleblower, but you are expected to submit a motivation for that, which you failed to do, both you and your legal representative. What have you got to say about that, Patricia?
What I'm going to say about that is, indeed, I was requested by Sipo Mashiani of the Triple SBC to submit a motivation in terms to be protected under the Protected Disclosure Act, which I did. I was represented at the time by Advocate Vali Hofmeyer, who was assisted by Mr. Mark Hyman. So on the 8th of September, Mr. Sipo Mashiani sent me a letter, an email. The email was addressed to me, Ms. GP Mashale, and to Mr. M. Hyman. And if I can read the email to you, it
Yeah, go
reads,
ahead, please.
inquiry by the arbitrator in terms of Section 188A11 of the LRA. Your motivation regarding the above mentioned matter received by the Council on the 8th of September 2021 refers. Kindly be advised that your motivation must be set out the following: the nature of the protected disclosure, the date on which the disclosure was made, to whom was the protected disclosure made, whether the disclosure is made in terms of Section 6 and or Section 9 of PDA. The motivation must support that the holding of an inquiry contravenes the Protected Disclosure Act, any other relevant to the determination on whether there was a protected disclosure, in the causal connection between the disclosure and the occupational detriment.
So does this mean you submitted a motivation and you were told that go back, rectify it, and write it in the manner that is detailed in this email, in this letter? Patricia?
Yes, yes.
All right. Can we now go to, because they are alleging here that you never submitted any motivation after you have requested together with your legal representative, and you say, no, I actually submitted, and you're producing this letter, and you say, we did, and you were told that you need to fix a few things because this is how a motivation should be written. Can we now
Mhm.
go to that same letter which you now later sent after you received this communication?
Okay.
So let's go over this again. You are requested to submit motivation after you've already submitted and you're told fix a few things and write it in this manner. What happens after that, Patricia?
Um, yes, like I said, I did respond the very same day on the 8th of September 2021, and I wrote it accordingly in the manner that he requested me to write it, and I submitted it to him on the 8th of September 2021.
Is
And
this
that is
the
it,
letter
it
we're
is
seeing on the screen?
screen. Yes, this is the letter that is on the screen now. And I did exactly what he said and I submitted it to him.
Now, why will the SAPS say you never submitted um, the motivation?
Because the SAPS want to make me out as, like they say, I'm disgruntled, I'm spreading false allegations, and they want to make me out as a liar. That's why they come now and say that I never submitted the motivation to the triple SBC. So as I said, I'm here today to expose between me and the SAPS who is actually telling the truth and who is actually misleading the world out there.
They go further than that. They say you are part of a group of people who were previously dismissed by the SAPS together with advocate Mali Selassie for who are driving this smear campaign, and they don't leave your husband out of this, who also is a former employee of SAPS. I mean, this gets complicated. Your husband also is in this. They say your allegations are unsubstantiated, your allegations are defamatory. I mean, they say you're all out to tarnish the image of the SAPS top management and their services. What have you got to say to that?
Okay. If you can go back to that ICD report, you will find that in 2009, the allegations that they say was investigated by ICD. The former ICD head was Mr. Francois Beekman, and the investigator in that matter was Mr. Dan Morema. So it was found in that report that the allegations was true, and then they went further to say my husband was charged for corruption and he was convicted. And if you go in the report and read the report, in the report it was said my husband was prosecuted maliciously because of the fact that I was the one who exposed the corruption, and my husband also initiated civil claim against the SAPS because he was actually arrested and detained for 10 days without charges that they brought against him. And then at the end of the day, they came after we went to the high court for him to be charged, because he was not charged for 10 days in detention. We went to the high court, and then after 10 days they came with charges to say my husband took a bribe of 120 rands over a period of 3 years. And the witness in that case was nowhere to be found. And they say they can't find a witness, and there was no statements, there was nothing in the docket. And then the cases was withdrawn against my husband. As you can see, IPAD also investigated it, and they found that the arrest was maliciously, the charges was maliciously, because I exposed the or corruption of the management in the Free State.
Do you have proof of that?
Yes, I have proof of that. Is that ICD document that I sent you? We can go through that document and you will find everything in the report.
Okay, let's go to that document. We're just going to give my producer a moment to bring that up. Please break it down for everybody to understand, because you're here to rebut everything they're saying, and that is reported in the Daily Maverick article. Patricia?
Okay, fine. My husband was also an employee of the South African Police Service. And after I blew the whistle on the corruption, he was charged for corruption, and he was maliciously prosecuted, and he was detained for 10 days without being charged. The National
Wow.
Commissioner said to the Portfolio Committee that he was convicted. He was never convicted. So now I have this IPAD report whereby there was investigation by the former ICD, where they confirmed that my husband was maliciously charged and not even convicted, because all charges against him was withdrawn at court. So my husband also initiated several claims against the SAPS, which is also current still in process, because the SAPS keep on delaying. But we believe that civil matter will be finalized soon. So, in terms of this IPAD report, it's confirmed that the charges in the arrest was malicious.
Can you take us to the exact place where it says the charges were malicious against your husband and therefore dismissed?
Okay.
Where
Can
is
you
that
just
in this
just
report?
scroll down? Yes, go. I think it's almost just go up again. Just go up again.
What
It's
page
almost
will it be?
almost almost the on yeah uh yeah point 2, paragraph 2.8, unlawfulness of the arrest. It has come to light after interviewing task team members that they were instructed by Director Tsumani to arrest Mr. George Mashale, despite the fact that there was no sufficient evidence to that effect. This in itself is neither criminal nor misconduct, but a civil matter. It appears that the arrest was effected without grounds according to the task team leader. The matter was referred to the minister together with other matters, but nothing prevents you from addressing this matter through civil avenues assistance. So
Yes.
that is the IPAD report. That is what they investigated, and they found that the arrest was malicious. It was done on instructed by directed to money, and there was no evidence.
Hmm. Yes.
Mm.
So after you blew the whistle, your husband also becomes now a victim of this revelations of corruption.
Yes. And not only that, you know what? On the day they arrested my husband, the entire police force, crime intelligence, organized crime came to my house. They turned my house upside down without a warrant of arrest. They took documents, they took everything, whatever they wanted to take from. And I, as Director Sumani, was there that day when they were at my house. I asked him whether they can produce a warrant of a search and seizure. And he told me that they don't have a warrant of search and seizure. And regardless of that, they searched my house, they took documents, they took whatever they wanted to take. And we never received those documents back. One of my one husband's colleagues, personal personal firearm was taken by the same people, because there were three of them who were arrested. And up to today, he never received his firearm back. We don't know what SAPS did with the firearm. He cannot apply for a firearm because that firearm still shows on his name on the system. And the firearm is just gone, it's just missing. And that was Director Zumani was there, and the investigators and everyone, and that is what happened that day when my husband and his colleagues was arrested.
And advocate for
Advocate Tefo, I came to know Advocate Tefo in 2020. Coincidentally, I came across a letter that he wrote to the SAPS management, and he was the one representing the dismissed, unlawfully dismissed members, and the members who received arbitration awards and who was supposed to be reinstated. And those members, SAPS just simply refuse to reinstate those members, regardless of the fact that they valid arbitrations or awards. And they kept on appealing the awards. And in terms of the Labor Relations Act, no one can appeal arbitration awards, but SAPS told Advocate Devo that they have a pool of money that they will use to keep on appealing the arbitration awards, and the same triple SBC allowed them to appeal the arbitration awards. And that is where Advocate Tefo came in. Advocate Tefo was the one who represented these poor members. There are member that I know about, Mr. George Mbatu, that Advocate Tefo also represented. He was suspended back in 1991. And the old man is now 65 years old, and there is no proof that he was, SAPS cannot even submit any proof that he was dismissed from SAPS, and they just refuse to reinstate him, regardless of the fact that there is a affidavit that states that he was never found guilty of any crime. SAPS refused. Then there is Warrant Officer Dube, who received arbitration award back in 2012. There's even a contempt of court order against Ria Biecha and Natim Tetwa for failing to honor the arbitration award. I'm in the process of reaffirming that contempt of court against Becky Khehla and against the National Commissioner, because since 2012 up until now, Warrant Officer Dube has not been reinstated yet. SAPS just refuse to reinstate the members. There are hundreds of members who are arbitration awards, of which SAPS refuse to reinstate the members. Now come FANNIE Masemola and say these members are disgruntled. These members are not disgruntled. These members must be reinstated. They have arbitration awards. They are the members who have been unlawfully dismissed, which I also assist. These members have been uh, uh, dismissed in terms of this unlawful, not that the regulation is actually not unlawful, it's a lawful regulation, but it's been implemented unlawfully. Regulation 9 of the SAPS discipline regulations 2016, whereby it's called the expeditious process. Members are being dismissed without being afforded to represent themselves in a trial. They are not being allowed to call witnesses. I've been dismissed in that manner. You are just being informed that this is the charges against you, and you are now dismissed now without being allowed to defend yourself in the trial. And there are currently there are about 5,000 members who have been dismissed in this manner. There are absolutely no statistics that if you can go now to the portfolio committee and ask them about those dismissed members and whether there are any statistics anywhere, they will tell you they don't know. FANNIE MASEMOLA recently said since the past 2 years, only 85 members have been dismissed from the South African Police Service, which is a blatant lie. I have proof that about plus minus 5,000 members have been dismissed from the South African Police Service, and most of those members are still receiving a salary. Like myself, the salaries are being still being. We call ourselves now ghost workers because we still receiving salaries, but our salaries are being redirected somewhere else. It is not being paid in our bank accounts, and our deductions is still going off. I've evidence that my premiums for my funeral cover, the workers' lives, are still being deducted, is up to date. I've evidence that I'm still active on the postal system. I have evidence that I'm still active on the Polfen system, but the salary, no one knows where is the salary going. And that is what I've been exposing. And today they say that we are disgruntled. This is not disgruntled members, it's honest police officers who won the cases in the courts, but they have been dismissed unlawfully by the South African Police Service.
Wow. Where are some of these um, members of the SAPS that have been accused and uh, apparently receiving salaries, but the salaries are not going to them? Even yourself, have they come forward to also support what you're saying? Are you singing alone, or does it not to mention your husband, not to mention um, advocate, for, but other people who can come and support what you're saying? And when it comes to your salaries, how is that even possible that benefits are still being paid, salaries are still paid, but it's not coming to you? The money is not coming to you, Patricia?
Yes, the executive director of IPAT is aware of that. The minister is aware of it. The national commissioner is aware of it. The deputy minister is aware of it. And even the lawyers, the president of NADEL is aware of it. The reason why I'm saying that, they met with these members, myself and all these members, in April 26, April 2021, and the members told them, the members informed them what is happening in SAPS, and in that meeting, we were all instructed that the only way these members will be reinstated in the South African Police Service is if we don't implicate Becky Khehla in acts of corruption, if we don't implicate Becky Khehla in acts of wrongdoing. There's the only way those members will be reinstated. And they wanted to make me part and parcel of that lie. And I told them that I will not be complicit. Then I rather stay unemployed. If Becky Khehla is corrupt, then I will implicate Becky Khehla. And I told my members to say that if it's like that, then we will fight up to the courts and we'll take SAPS to the courts, and the courts will make the decision, not we being ordered or instructed not to talk about corruption they were committed by Becky Cele. Then we will be afforded opportunity to be reinstated into the police again.
Hmm. Wow, 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 wow. Now, there are also allegations that in the Free State, the, 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 um, the management there is dominated by supporters of the former or the suspended Secretary General of the ANC, Isma Khashile. What have you got to say about that?
I can confirm that it's true. I'm talking now the provincial commissioner. Her contract was supposed to end on the 1st of February this year. Her contract was extended on the recommendation of the premier, of the current premier of Free State. There was this faction that was the Free State province. That was the Northwest when Ismahashulu was still the premier in Free State. It was the Free State province that I can confirm it was the Northwest province. And there was this faction who called themselves the provincial commissioners, who called themselves the Premier League, who were aligned to Ismahashuli. They are definitely aligned to Ismahashuli, and I can confirm it. They can try to challenge it. That's the truth. Mayor General Bibi Mutsunyani is aligned to Ismahashuli. She's aligned to the RET faction. And the National Commissioner can try to contest it as much as he wants. There are a lot of people who can confirm it in the police and outside of the police.
The SAPS has said concerning this matter that they are unaware, they don't know anything like that. They're just denying it. How do you prove this one? And I mean, if
Pardon?
I can, how do you prove this one that the top management of the SAPS in the Free State is dominated by supporters of the likes of the suspended um, Secretary General of the ANC, Isma Khashule. That's one. Two, if we can reverse, if we can just rewind rather. I've asked a question and I'm not sure if you really responded to that. Where are some of these suspended or dismissed SAPS members who are also tagged as disgruntled um, employees or former employees who can come forward and support
There's
what you're saying? Do you have witnesses apart from your husband, apart from uh, the likes of Advocate Safer and others?
I have
Patricia?
a lot of witnesses, and they are all over the country. They are in all 9 provinces. I have WhatsApp groups of all the those so-called disgruntled members who will be, if you can ask me to arrange a meeting with them tomorrow to be interviewed, they will all be available to be interviewed, and they will all confirm what I've been saying. They are there. I can even give you all the context now. I can show you the WhatsApp groups that I have of them. They are there. They are ready and available to confirm. And you ask me, how do I prove the SAPS management is aligned to the former SG? I reported to General Sitole when he was still the provincial commissioner that there was money stolen to the amount of money 200 million was stolen to fund the Mangaung election conference in 2012. I gave General Sitole the documentation. I gave him everything. He said that he was going to investigate the case. So that's how I know that since that time that the SAPS managements have been funding the Free State ANC with the money from the South African Police Service.
Right. We don't need many of them. I would say if you could get us 9, 10 thing with you to come on the show as soon as you can gather them, because 10 is a number of is a congregational number, it's a number of completeness. I mean, 10 is a very good number that can represent the thousands of them that are there, or the hundreds of them that are there, to really support what you're saying. Look, you have brought so many documents so far to support and to rebut what the SAPS have come to say is, or have dismissed as a smear campaign. So even on this one of disgruntled former SAPS members, bring us 10 people or 9 of them who have been dismissed and are still earning salaries that are not reaching their accounts. Bring some form of proof to support that. And you said some of your benefits are being paid to third parties, if we can put it that way. Even that, bring some form of, bring evidence to support that. I won't stop there, and I'll tell you why. Because whistleblowers should be protected and ought to be protected and ought to be uh, really taken seriously and supported in all forms in all available means, or in all, you know,
Yes.
that is something it cannot be overemphasized, because if if a whistleblower is dismissed as one who is lying, and we've seen how others are dying, and so many have died, and they continue to die after they've blown the whistle, they've lifted the lid on corruption. Now, to rebut all that and to also stop what has come out as discredit, smear campaign, tarnish, character assassination, you need to bring proof, and you say you can find some of them. Let's see how soon you can get them to come and support what you're saying. You say
I'll,
grant
I'll,
is grant.
I'll
Yes,
even do better. I'll even do
please.
better than that. I'll send you an email that I sent to the commissioner of SARS in April, Edward Kiswetter, whereby I went to report this corruption regarding the salaries in SAPS. An investigator was appointed, and I gave them all my proof and all my evidence is with SARS. And I recently communicated with them to ask the progress of that investigation, and they told me they are still in the process of investigating. So I will even send you that email. I will give you the context of the investigation officer. They have all the documents. So I will I the members submitted their documents to me proving that they are still receiving salaries, and I handed it over to SARS, because me myself now, to prove actually that I am still regarded by SARS as an employee, I owe SARS now 12,000 rand in taxes, because they told me that I'm employee, but I'm not paying over my employee tax. So I owe SARS currently 12,000 rand. So how is it possible that someone who's dismissed, who don't receive a salary, are now being penalized by SARS for not paying taxes?
Because being a whistleblower is risky, very risky, and it takes the brave to do that. So whatever you bring will really assist and will also protect other whistleblowers so that you're not dismissed as disgruntled. You're not dismissed as gossipers. You're not dismissed as character assassinators. Now, talking about character assassination, you were dismissed. No, you started working for the SAPS in 2007, but later this year, no, early this year in February, you were dismissed. That's about a few months ago, right? And
Yes.
during October of 2021, it is said that you participated in a strike action while you were on sick leave. You were on leave, a sick leave, but uh, you still somehow found yourself, yes, you still somehow found yourself on the street toy-toying, protesting, and you were subsequently charged for misconduct together with another SAPS member who was on duty but participated on an unprotected, and I want to stress that, unprotected strike. So both of you were dismissed. What have you got to say about that?
Okay. Let me start by saying,
You laugh at this one. You look up. What is even the meaning of that?
let me start by saying, on 14 October 2021, three police officers came to my office and they took my phone by force on a fraudulent search and seizure warrant. I was literally held hostage in my office, and my phone, my personal phone, was taken by force. That was 14 February 2021. I was not afforded the opportunity to call a lawyer. I was not afforded the opportunity to call a family member. Even my commander was not even allowed to be in the office. He was chased out of the office. Now that's me in the office with three police officers, of which two of them was armed. The colonel who sees my phone has even been awarded with a promotion recently. Is now brigadier. So what happened then, after my phone was seized, I was so traumatized. It was on a Wednesday, if I can remember correctly. I was so traumatized. My commander told me, say, you know what? Go home. You cannot keep on working. And then the following day, I went to the because I saw after I only read through the seizure warrant that was just thrown on my table. I was not even given a chance to read through it. I only read through it when I arrived home, and I saw that there was an amendment on their document. And when I hold it against the light, I saw that there was a case number that was scratched out. Now you must remember now with official documents, whenever you make an amendment, you must initial that amendment. You must make someone aware that there was an amendment made. And then the other thing that made me suspicious on the warrant itself, the details of my phone, the email number of my phone, and my sales, my SIM card serial number was already recorded. So now that was already making me suspicious, because how is it possible that my details of the phone was already on the seizure warrant when the phone was only seized on that day. So what I already suspected all along, that my phone was already intercepted a long time ago. That's how they got the information of the details of my phone, because there was never, I went to the court to go and confirm, because I saw there was a magistrate Marks who signed it, such a seizure warrant. So I went to the chief magistrate, and I went to get clarity on how the seizure warrant was obtained on such a minor case, because the case was that was opened against me was the same uh, um, allegations of spreading false allegations against this Mayor General that I implicated. And the chief magistrate went to obtain the original file, and then he came back to me and he said that my suspicion was confirmed, because the document in the original file is no amendment on it. The Kroonstad case number is still on the documents. So we checked the Kroonstad case number and we saw that it was a very serious fraud case that was actually ongoing in court at the time. So yes, um, you know what? I was in the middle of writing my exams, and the app that I used to open my question paper was on my phone. And then the next day, I called the colonel and asked him to say, you know what, I'm writing. It was the Saturday that I called him, because I was supposed to write an exam on the Monday. I'm writing my exam on the Monday. Are you going to bring my phone back, because I need an app to open my question paper? He told me, say no. The phone are going to be taken for analysis to yes, and I had a total breakdown on that Saturday. I completely lost it, because there was no all my stress and just everything just came down on me. And then to such a point that they had to take me to the doctor, and the doctor had even had to give me injections and stuff to calm me down. And the community heard about what happened to me. And the leader of there's a community forum in Bloemfontein called the Mangaung. Yeah, there's a Mangaung community forum. The leader of the community forum called me and said, you know what? We heard what happened to you, and we are actually going to have a peaceful march whereby we're going to hand over three memorandums. The one is going to the SAPS, the other one is going to the DPP, and the third one is going to the Office of the Premier. Would you please be part of this march? It's already approved by the municipality, and then you will be part of the handing over of the memorandum at the South African Police Service. I first consulted with my doctor, my psychiatrist. I called him and I asked him, I said, this is what the community requested of me. I just want to get your opinion on this. Should I do it or not? Because I'm booked off sick. And my doctor, my psychiatrist told me, he said, uh, you know what? Yes, you are book of sick. You are not disabled. You are not bedridden. And if this is going to help you, assist you mentally to go and face the very people who caused you to have a breakdown, then I say you must go. Then it's going to help you in the therapy that you are currently getting from me. So I got the go ahead, the green light for my psychiatrist to say, yes, you can go. And if there is any problems, if they ask anything, you give them my number and they will call me. And indeed, the doctor was when I submitted my medical certificate to them, they wanted the doctor to amend the medical certificate. He actually wrote in pencil on the medical certificate that the doctor must write there that I have major depression and not just a breakdown. And the doctor refused. The doctor wrote a letter back to them to tell them that this lady had a breakdown because of what happened to her at the workplace. And anyone who have a problem with that must come to me as the doctor, and we can even go to court if we had to go to court. And I submitted both letters to them. So that is, they charged me with unlawful industrial actions. That's what they call them. They said it was unlawful. I participated in unlawful industrial action. They charged me for that, and the chairperson on the departmental trial was actually the very same brigadier who I already opened cases against for corruption and for misleading the South African Police Service. He was demoted because of me. He was a general. He was demoted to a brigadier because of me. And now sits this man in as the chairperson in my trial. Me and my representative requested him to recuse himself from the trial because there was already complaints that I submitted. I already opened a case with IPAT against him, and he asked me to bring him proof. And we brought him the proof, the case number of iPad, and regardless of that, he informed us that he refused to recuse himself from the case. He will proceed from the case. We did not just work out of the departmental trial. We informed him that in that case, the process, the procedure is unlawful, and we will wait for him to recuse himself, and we will wait for another chairperson to be appointed, and then we can proceed with the case. And the next thing, it was in February the 22nd. He dismissed me. The notice of dismissal that I received, he dismissed me on the very same day. And that is what happened regarding this dismissal of mine.
We just need to just rewind a little bit so that we really capture it very well. So you were booked off sick, and then you participated in a in an unprotected strike, as they allege, and you say no, the strike was not unprotected; it was a protected strike, and they say this was captured in a footage, in a video, where you even read out a memorandum and you were insulting a provincial commissioner of police, a senior and senior police managers. Could that be true? Is that true? Not only that, then you are now charged with misconduct and bringing the service into disrepute. Is that also true? And this now led to your subsequent dismissal and removal from the SAPS, because you had a disciplinary hearing, as you just explained, and in that disciplinary hearing, you walked out together with your union representative. What have you got to say about that? Were you?
Um,
I mean, I understand your doctor gave you a go ahead to go and participate, but you're booked off sick. Didn't that um, create a conflict for you?
okay. There
I
was
know
indeed
I know the questions are too many all at once,
no
but they're
problem.
all they
I don't have a problem to answer the questions. Okay. There was
yeah.
indeed, like I said, it was a community, lawful community march in terms of Section 34 of the Municipal Act. I was there. I read a memorandum. There is a video that one of the community members also made. In that video, it shows that I only read the memorandum in English, and there is someone next to me who are translating what I read in Sisutu. There is no way in the video where I insult any senior, where I insult anyone, and they say they dismissed me because I participated in the unlawful industrial action. No, they did not dismiss me because I participated in the industrial action, because there was no trial. There was actually no trial because as I said, the chairperson didn't want to afford me a fair trial, because I knew that him being in the trial, I was already going to be dismissed anyway. He refused to afford me a opportunity to go and defend myself in a fair trial whereby I submit my evidence, whereby my doctor would also have been called to go and testify. So I was not dismissed. Because I participated in unlawful industrial action, I was just dismissed because the chairperson felt that he will not recuse himself from the trial, and being a brigadier or being a senior, he have the right to dismiss me.
Did you insult the provincial commissioner and other senior members of
I did
police?
not insult him. As I said, I sent you the video. The video can even be played here, right here. You can see in the video what I'm saying. I did not insult anyone. The video is there.
All right, we'll go to that video shortly as they prepare the video. But they also say this is what um, there appears to be a contradiction because you're claiming that you are dismissed because you blew the whistle on corruption and high level corruption for that matter. But on the other hand, no, you are not dismissed because of that. You are dismissed because you were booked off sick. While you were booked off sick, you participated in an illegal, unprotected strike or industrial action, as we call it, and you were captured in a video footage insulting the provincial commissioner of the police and some top senior management in the police, and you say no, it's not so.
You know what? The reason why I said so. The initial charges against me for misconduct, for speaking out about the corruption, that procedure was set aside. And the reason that procedure was set aside is because of the whistleblower status that I was afforded by the South African Human Rights Commission. So the chairperson in that matter, Brigadier Ranswareng, it's on record where he says that he is not going to go against the recommendations of the Human Rights Commission. He is not going to pursue the matter because I'm officially a whistleblower. So that matter was set aside. But what I'm saying is, I've been dismissed. Still, I've been dismissed because of the same retaliation. That was pure retaliation against me. Because why didn't they appoint a chairperson like Brigadier Ranswareng, would have been afforded me a fair chance to defend myself in that trial whereby they accused me of the allegations that I insulted the management, that I participated in an unlawful strike. As I said, If I had a chairperson who were impartial, I would have not been dismissed because I would have had the opportunity to go and to present all the evidence that I had and call my witnesses, and I would have not been dismissed.
Right.
So what
So,
I'm saying is it was still pure retaliation because the same Mayor General that were pursuing me with the protection orders and everything, he actually told a colleague of mine, and that colleague is on, he gave me a affidavit. There was even a recording where this general called him and told him that he is going to deal with me. I will be dismissed from the South African Police Service.
well, it appears he might have just done that. Would you, by any chance, have that letter or documentary evidence that suspends uh, that action against you? While you look for that, let's go and see this video where it is alleged that you insulted the provincial commissioner of police and some senior top management members of the SAPS. Can we go to that video now?
Let's go to the video.
Number 5, senior review of all departmental cases and those members by independent panels.
Maponesa na a qositsweng ka botsotsi, maponesa a mang a qosa a mang, empa ho na le dibodi tse tshwanetseng ho investigate di-case tsa maponesa. Maponesa a fane ka dijokete bathong ba loketseng ho etsa mosebetsi oo, hobane jwale ba se ba e sebetsa setsotsi, e mong o sa tjheya motho a qeta sa tlo etse kare o na le nyewe kgahlano le ena hore a tsebe ho mo leleka mosebetsi.
Number 6, immediate total transformation of Free State SAPS.
O tla o lo kora taba ena ya botsamaisi ba mona Free State, o mme kapa batho ba itseng ba ke ba fuwe di-position. Ho kotlolo e tla lokiswa makwerekwere mona le batho e re sa ba tsebeng ba ntse ba nka di-position e ka re mona Free State ka ona maponesa ba tswang sekolong le ba nang le experience ya mosebetsi. Taba eo ba tla etsuwe le yona ke sehlopha sa batho ba ikemetseng ba ke ba refuwe taba eo.
Number 6, no more political interference and political appointment in SAPS.
Ho na le maqheku tshwane tsena tse borakgwe tsena tse bapalang mesebetsing ya tax ya rona, ha ba tsena ba matha ke bona ba ithuntse ha ua dikgethong tjena ba tla ba bulela batho bo di-case re a tseba ba sa fe maponesa hore ba etse mosebetsi wa bona. Jwale mona ho thwe ha maponesa a ka fuwe sepeisi ke boradipolotiki ka mpa tse kgolo ba ke ba tlohele maponesa a etse mosebetsi wa sepolesi. Bona ba beile paseka tsa dinkankane ba tshile ditjhelete tsa corruption le ba tla ba tlo tshehetsa maponesa mo.
Immediate service progression of all the police officials. Members have been serving for more than 20 years in one rank, while the elite progressed from sub to colonel in 4 years.
Leponesa le leng wa kgone motse ka etsang tse ha e sale le constable kapa e le sergeant, bana ba difamili le metswalle bona ha ba kena fela ba ntse ba fuwa dibenke tse hodimo moo disalari e kareng di betere. And nthwena a ngata e tsona mona Free State e ka ra rena maponesa a ruteileng le batho ba mosebetsi ba nang le experience. Batho bana ba ntse ba etsa dintho tsena kaofela ke lekulonanyana le itseng le sa batleng ho ba le tshebedisano mo le maponesa kaofela ba kgetholla batho ba ba mo halefo ho lekolwe dintho tsena tse ntseng di etswa.
Who is the gentleman, right? If I may ask, if I'm permitted to ask, next to you there, and what are you even saying there? Are those the insults that, or they have a different footage to this one? This is the same footage that was used in the
That
case
is
against
the
you.
very same footage that they have, because all that happened there was just the memorandum that I read out, and the gentleman next to me, he just translated, and yes, that's what happened. I just read the memorandum. So there was nowhere on the memorandum where there was any insult against anyone. So yes, that is the video that we made of that incident.
Well, I was actually asking about the other gentleman in light blue, light blue, sky blue t-shirt.
That
Looks
gentleman is
familiar.
he's actually familiar. Is
Yes.
advocate Tefo Malisela. He actually came to Free State to come and represent members. They were also charged departmentally. So on that day, he was in Free State, and he actually was part of that march.
Wow. There is just so much that has happened. So you're dismissed in February 2022 this year, earlier this year. And since then, you've never worked. You um, wrote a petition. You did an online petition where you tell people about your story, and it is alleged that you're saying since you blew the whistle on huge corruption in the SAPS implicating senior management, your life became threatened, and you were also dismissed from your job, and now you have no way to sustain yourself anymore financially. I've got just a few questions on this one. Is that online petition there? That's one. Two, if it's there, um, why were you dismissed according to you? And the third question will be, uh, you say you are unable to financially sustain yourself anymore. What happened to your pension? You've been working at the SAPS since 2007. I'll tell you why. Because some 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 people do not understand or don't know what is really going on. You've been working for the SAPS since 2007. You're dismissed now in 2022. Earlier this year, where is your pension? Where are your benefits that you're supposed to have claimed after being dismissed or well received after being dismissed? Because some people feel this could just be another money making scheme using or disguised as whistleblowing. The South African human rights have afforded you the status of being a whistleblower. You could not receive that from a more relevant body to you. Just put this puzzle together for everyone watching around the world. Where are your benefits? You've
Um,
worked for
in terms
years.
of in terms of the petition, yes, I started an online petition mainly because of the threats that against my life. Remember, I've been in hiding since February, and after the first attempt of my on my life, I sought intervention from every office that I could think of, and even from the office of the president, the speaker of the parliament, the portfolio committee. I didn't receive any assistance, and I then decided to start this petition to raise awareness of what is happening to me before something actually happens to me, before I actually get killed. So that's why I started a petition. The petition is already been signed by more than 31,000 people currently. And in terms of my benefits, my pension, everything, remember I told you the same day that I was dismissed on the 22nd of February, my salary was stopped the very same day. So the last time I received the salary was in January. I went, actually did go to GPF to try and make a withdrawal. I was informed by GPF that they don't have records. I cannot make a withdrawal because I'm not, according to their systems, I'm not dismissed. And that's when I went back to SAPS to confirm whether I'm actually dismissed. And that's why I found that I was still active on the system, and that I was still active on the salary system, and I was still receiving a salary, but the salary just don't go into my bank account in September. So I could not withdraw my pension because I was regarded as someone who was still employed by SAPS. In September, I was called by a captain. He said he was calling me from service termination in Pretoria, and he was busy with my pension application to GPA. I asked the captain, I say, but how is it possible that you are busy with my pension application? Because my pension, a GPF, is my pension. SAPS have nothing to do with my pension. I am paying the pension to GPF, and I am the one who must go to GPF to make an application to withdrawal. I was so angry. I told that captain, I say, you must stop immediately what you're busy with, because you subs absolutely don't have the right to interfere into the matter between me and GPF. And on 1st November of this year, at 21 minutes past 7 in the morning, I received a notification from GPF that my pension application was submitted that morning, and it was processed the same morning. And I was so suspicious because GPF only opens at 8 o'clock in the morning. And I wait until a GPF opens, and I call them. And most when you call GPF, you will hold on for almost an hour. I decided to hold on for that hour because I wanted to find out who submitted my pension application. And then eventually, when I went through, the consultant informed me that yes, we did receive your application today. It's captured today. All the forms are signed uh, and even certified. Even the bank confirmation form was taken to the bank, that it's confirmed that is your banking details. Everything is signed. Your documents is here. Your application are in process. I was so shocked. I told the lady, I say, I never submitted an application withdrawal. The last time I was in contact with GPF is when they told me that I'm still an employee. I cannot apply for a withdrawal. And she told me that no, SAPS submitted the application. So I don't know who signed my documents. I don't know how the documents was certified. I don't know who went to the bank, because you must go to the bank in person to go and confirm your banking details. I don't know anything. All I know is what GPF told me, that SAPS submitted my pension application, and I don't know who's going to get the money, or if that person already got the money. And yes, that is what happened. I actually went to the SIU to report it to them, and they asked me to go and obtain the documents that were submitted to GPF by SAPS, and I was about to go on the Monday, and then the second attempt on my life was on the Saturday, where I was almost short. So I never got a chance to go to GPF to go and obtain those documents. But what I can say is SAPS submitted my pension withdrawal application with fraudulent signatures. The documents that they submitted, I don't know whose documents it is because I never saw the documents, but the confirmation from GPF is there that yes, the application have been submitted. So my money are also been taken from me by SAPS. That's why currently I don't have money. I can sustain myself. And yes, it is what happened.
Hmm. So, how are you doing it every day? Are you receiving donations? Have you been receiving donations? Have you received anything? Are people coming forward to assist you? Really?
Yes, you know what? I really currently people after I heard my story who are coming forward. They made donations. It's not much, but it's helping. And then the PLAF also assisted me with paying for my accommodation. But unfortunately, just after I paid for 3 months for the accommodation, there's where I had to fled the place that where I was staying, and then the Professor Mary the Haas is also the one who are also assisting me in frontline defense. The newly established human whistleblower house was also assisting me with donations, but currently now they don't have sponsors anymore. And the frontline defenders was also at the time assisting me to pay for my accommodation, but currently it's very difficult now to find sponsors or organizations. Most of the all the organization that I can say that already assisted me is foreign organizations, and then the human right, the whistleblower house in South Africa. But from any other place, the South African government, wherever, I've never received any assistance from them.
Wow. We believe that everyone is hearing and listening. Where can they find this online petition, and how can they find ways to assist you? If anyone wants to assist you financially, where do they go to? How do they go about it? Petition?
The online petition they will find on my Facebook account, Patricia Morgan Mashale. They can also find it on my YouTube channel, Patricia Mashale. And yes, the petition is there. And I've also been assisted by change.org to market the petition. So yes, they will, if they're looking for the petition is on those two platforms.
And will the petition have details on how they can support financially and who to contact, how to go about all that?
The petition doesn't have any currently now. Yes, there is on Twitter. Some of the people who have been assisting me who made a poster for donations for me.
Yes.
So that poster can be found on my Twitter account, Patricia Mashale 3. It's Patricia Mashale 3. So it's there on my Twitter account.
Okay, we'll make sure that all those details are available for anyone to see and assist. Uh, Before we let you go, we are at the tail end. We didn't really get to some of the things, but we have covered the major things, the really major allegations and really big things of this report. And remember, you must and you should be coming back with the other um, fellow SAPS members that have been dismissed. But before we let you go and before we go, I would like us to really have a look at one of um, the videos you sent. Because if we can just rewind a little bit, you spoke about an attempt on your life again just recently, last week, Saturday, Patricia. Now, Patricia, thanks a gazillion times for staying on. I mean, your patience is something else. We have had uh, so much time with you, and we really appreciate it. You have said something that got me concerned, and I was wondering what that possibly means. You said, if anything happens to you or if you die, we should blame it on President Cyril Ramaphosa. What did you mean by that? Such a
Um, you know what? That is after the recent attempt on my life. Remember, I said that I wrote there's a petition. I wrote several letters to the president's office, whereby I was constantly referred back to Becky Cele, and I did indicate to them that I cannot go to complain to Becky Cele because I did implicate Becky Cele in this corruption. And after the second attempt on my life, I just decided I started by writing an open letter to the president to say that there was now the second attempt on my life after I've exhausted all avenues to get assistance, to get a protection from the government, and especially in terms of the recommendation of the Zondo Commission. And I, in this open letter, I actually said that if something happens to me, the president must be held responsible because he's doing absolutely nothing about my situation, although he knows what is happening to me. So that is where it all started.
wow. And your response, or you were referred back to the police minister, you say.
Yes, I wrote emails to the office of the president, the PA of the president, who is Mr. Robert Longani, kept on referring my emails back to Becky Cele. And on the last email, I informed him that I don't even, I'm not even sure whether he actually forward my emails to the president or whether he's the one who is blocking the emails at his table, and that he cannot. I don't want to talk to Becky Cele because Becky Cele is implicated. And after that, I never received any response back from the office of the president.
And where you are, you have no protection whatsoever from the protection services or the SAPS or any sector really. You have no protection. You are not a protected whistleblower.
Actually, in terms of the whistleblower status that I was afforded, and in terms of the letter, I wrote a letter to the portfolio committee of police, whereby they ordered a threat assessment from the Free State South African Police. The threat assessment was then done by a crime intelligence officer, Warrant Officer Masdorp, in which, after he completed the threat assessment, he indeed implicated the Free State SAPS management into the attempts on my life. So, Warrant Officer Masdorp then, the threat assessment was rejected by the Portfolio Committee of Police. The chairperson of the Portfolio Committee of Police rejected the threat assessment based on the fact that she was informed that the assessment was not done correctly. In you will see in that report of Daily Maverick, that's exactly what Fannie Masemola said. The report was not done in the correct format. That's why they rejected the report. And if we can go back, and I still have the letter of the Portfolio Committee of Police, they requested it in the form, the threat assessment in the form of a report. And that is what Warrant Officer Mas, exactly what he did. So after rejecting the report, Warrant Officer Mazur was instructed to change the contents of the report, of which he refused. He was instructed by his commanders to change the contents of the report. He refused to change the contents of the report, and he was actually charged departmentally for misconduct for refusing to comply to this unlawful instruction. And regardless of the fact that he was charged for misconduct, in terms of his functions, in terms of the Counterintelligence Act, to serve to protect all citizens of South Africa, to protect a certified whistleblower, Warrant Officer Mazur proceeded to be there to protect me, to do his job. And the only protection that I received so far is from Warrant Officer Mazur, although his superiors doesn't approve of it. They discharged him departmentally. He was not found guilty on all charges recently. And from March up until now, the Warrant Officer Mazur was the only person who risked his job to protect me. So everywhere I have to go, running errands, going shopping, do whatever, Warrant Officer Mazurp is the one who is there. He's the one who are escorting me. He's the one who are transporting me in the legal terms of the functions of his job description.
Wow, wow, wow. That is just something else. Let's check a video. There's a video here. You wanna tell us about it? You'll take us through it. This is serious. Talking about protection. Talking about protection, and it it, it, it can't just be overemphasized because there are so many whistleblowers out there, and there are so many who are also reluctant on whistleblowing. I think it's about time the society needs to come together, and the community look at the place of whistleblowers and what communities can do to assist and make sure that they have sufficient protection and they're sufficiently taken care of after they've lost their job, after they are out of their employment, after they have no form of income. Because do whistleblowers even ever get employed? I don't know. All these are just questions that are coming to me right now. And once again, thank you for what you are doing. Thank you for what you have done, your bravery. You shall be vindicated for whatever that you have said. You shall be judged for everything that you have revealed. That is what it is. And if anyone disagrees with what you have said, they should come and rebut it with evidence. That's just what it is. That's just what I think. But anyway, let's go to this video of you. Take us to.
Michelle of Edison and Edison and Michelle praat met hulle. Ja.
Oh, Ellie. Ek kan al die gesigte vat. Daai oompie, vet oompie.
Wie is dat?
Waar is Julian? Waar is Julian? Waar is Julian? Ek moet ook iets obvious. Ek soek vir Julian. Never, tate, never, never, never. Never, tate. Nee, ek is gereed. Ek het al of ek spuit met water. Oh, Shane, kom ons gaan.
Ja!
Kom ons gaan. Ek is gereed.
Wacht.
Die deur is oop.
Mama!
Ja, ek vat hom.
Maak oop. Kyk oop.
Slip oop.
Kijk, maar zo poezen.
Never, tate, never. Never, tate.
Okay, people who don't just give me a call. Michelle of Alice moet zeggen, Alice en Michelle praat met elkaar. Ja.
What is happening here? My 11-year-old shot this video. As you can see, that huge police presence outside there. On instruction of SAPS
Is
at
this
my
your
house.
house?
This is
This
my
your house?
house. Yes, they were sent to my house after the broadcasting of the cutting edge program, whereby we also expose the corruption of the SCPS with evidence. So, after the broadcasting of that program, the police were sent to my house to arrest me and my husband again. And the charges again was spreading of false allegations against the South African police management. As you can see, even the TRT was there. And my son was with you can see they locked themselves inside a house with my brother. My two daughters arrived at the house and they demanded a warrant of arrest from the officers. They didn't have a warrant of arrest, but they were there to arrest us. So I was obviously already in hiding. My husband was also not at home. So once again, this is just proof that how the Free State Police are misusing the state resources for their own personal vendettas. Because this look at that police presence. Just look at that police presence. But in real crimes, where real crimes are committed and where people are really being killed or being raped or whatever, you will not find that kind of police presence who are attending crime scenes. But in cases of whereby whistleblowers are being accused of spreading false allegations against the SAPS management, that's now where you found that there is two police stations there. There's the Park Road Police Station and there's the Bensvlei Police Station. Even the station commander of Bensvlei Police Station was there personally, although both stations were not even in the serving area, because my serving area is the Mangaung police station. So officers from other police stations, 2 police stations, were sent to my house to effect the arrest.
Wow. Wow. So you have been away from home, away from your children and your husband for how long now?
Since February.
Since February. It brings me back to that question I asked. I asked a question when we started earlier on. Who do we trust? Do we trust the car builder or do we trust the car salesman? Patricia, will you be in a position to answer that question? It's the $1 million question right now. You've been separated from your loved ones. You're somewhere hiding and labeled as a disgruntled um, employee. Who do we trust with everything that you have raised? Who do we trust in relation with SAPS? Is it the car builder we should trust or the car salesman? Patricia?
You know what, Major Daughter, I just did not wake up one day and decided to 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 launch a smear campaign against the South African Police Service as they alleged. I mean, yeah, I am a woman, a mother, and actually, I'm talking about people's names here. I'm making serious allegations against this huge organization. And the obvious thing to do, the logical thing to do when you are launching a smear campaign against someone is to, I would have initiated, like I did, I initiated civil claims for my name that was defamed by the head mayor general in SAPS. So the logical thing for them, the people who I implicated, whose names I've been calling all over social media, is to take me to court. Now the question is, why don't they take me to court? Because they alleged that I am launching a smear campaign against senior officers, against the South African Police Services. They must just simply sue me. There's the logical thing to do. But no, they are afraid to sue me because all the allegations that I made must be tested in a court of law. We must go to court and they know that I have the evidence and I will go to court and I will produce my evidence in court. Now, the easy thing for them to do is misusing the resources of the South African Police Service to retaliate against me. They don't use their own money. They know I don't have the finances, the resources to fight against me. But what I told myself, my resource that I have on my side is the truth. So the question that you ask is, who do we trust? Who do we believe? In my situation is my weapon against them is only the truth. And as long as I stick to the truth, there's nothing that they can do against me.
Hmm. We've come to the end of this program, but the conversation doesn't have to end. In fact, it ought to continue. We've got to really talk about whistleblower. How have you been coping without your children, your loved ones, your husband? How has it been
You know
like?
what?
How do you face
It's
day after day?
I remember when I went into hiding, I was on antidepressants. I was
Yes.
on medication. And immediately after I was dismissed, I couldn't get my treatment anymore because my medical aid was also terminated. So I had to now cope. I had to find a way to cope without that medication. And the other thing is I'm alone. I can't see my children. I talk to them, yes, on the phone, but is for especially for my 11-year-old, because he had to go through this year, the entire year, on his own, without his mother by his side. You must remember, he's so used to me. I was the one who was assisting him with his schoolwork. I was the one 11-year-old in terms of the children's right, have the right to be taken care of by his parents. Uh, our my family's constitutional rights has so been infringed. I don't have the freedom of movement. My children don't have the basic rights to be taken care of. Even they don't have the freedom of movement because they are being followed in I mean, in terms of the bill of rights. My family's constitutional rights are so being infringed, and the government is aware of it. So it's very, very difficult. And my son, is going to have to live with this trauma for the rest of his life. And in the meantime, he must be told every day that the police are people to be trusted. So now he's in a situation where he found that the same police that have to be trusted is the police that actually is hunting his mother around, the same police who wants to kill his mother. So how do you bring it through to the mind of 11-year-old to say, you know what, you still have to trust the police because it's not all of them who are the same. It's very difficult because it will ask you difficult questions to say, but uh, 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 this can't be. This can't be. How will I go to the police to report when something had been done wrong to me, when it is the same police who are doing this to my mother?
Wow, wow. I can't just imagine what you're passing through. This is a difficult one, but I'm going to ask it. How do you think this is going to end? What is your expected end?
You know what, Maya General, what I told myself is I'm already in the situation. And the expected end that I want is to be vindicated. They're the people who prosecuted me, the people that I implicated in crimes, that the government must prove to the world that no one is above the law. If I can be prosecuted and be dragged before court for spreading false allegations against the South African Police Service, while I have all the evidence to prove my allegations, then I expect the people that I implicated in the corruption and on which I have evidence should also be charged criminally, and they should also be dragged to court, and I will be there all the way with my evidence to testify against them. But the government must now come forward and prove that this law doesn't only apply to ordinary citizens. This law doesn't only apply to whistleblowers, because most of the, let me say, all of the whistleblowers have been prosecuted. They have been retaliated upon. They lost their jobs. They lost their lives. And still nothing is happening to the people that they implicated in acts of corruption. So the final outcome that I want to be, that I can also prove to everyone in South Africa that we actually have a justice system that is working, that these people must be charged criminally, and the justice must be served in this instance, so that I can also go back to a normal life. Because as long as they are in power, I will never be able to get my life back. I will forever run. I will forever be in hiding. I will never be reunited with my children again. So the onus is on the government to prove that they actually care about whistleblowers, that they care about the rule of law, and they will act against the people whom are implicated in this corruption.
And your last word to the world, the last word to those who are listening, watching, those who will see this later, those who will see this even days after. What would you like to say to them?
I want to say to the world that although I find myself now in this difficult position of being in a hiding because I'm a whistleblower, if I have to do it again, I will do it over and over and over again, because here I'm not only fighting corruption in the South African police service, because corruption is not limited to the South African police service. Corruption have become normal in South Africa. Here I'm fighting for the future of my children, because if I don't proceed with this fight, my children are not going to have a future in South Africa. Our country is already on the verge of collapse, and our people have allowed the power of corruption over us. We have sat and we have folded our arms and we have watched and we have normalized corruption. They are the people who actually taught their children that corruption is fine. You to progress in life, you have to be corrupt. And today I'm saying to the world out there, and I'm saying especially to South Africans, stand up. Stand up. If you can't do it for yourself, at least do it for the children, for the youth of South Africa who are sitting today at home unemployed, although most of them are educated, because of this disease called corruption. If we don't stand up now, we will be complicit to the total collapse of our country. A small difference, just one word is also a difference that you can make. Me, as Patricia Mashale, will never go down. The only time that I will be silenced is the time when they eventually caught up with me, and they eventually killed me. But as long as I'm alive and kicking, I'm going to fight for the better future of my children. And I encourage everyone in South Africa. I even encourage the global world to assist South Africans to fight for this country, so that we can get our country back, and so that we can rebuild our country.
Hmm, wow. From your lips to God's ears, my prayer for you is that God will protect and keep you together with your family, and that an expected end wish
Thank you.
that it would happen.
Thank you so much. I really believe in prayer. You know what? That keeps me alive and kicking every morning when I wake up. There's why that first thing that I say to God, that I'm alive again. I have a reason to smile. I will not go down and become a victim. I'm not a victim. I'm a fighter. And yes, as long as there is breath in my body, I will go on.
Amen. Amen. We hope to see you again very soon. We pray to see you again very soon. But may His protection be upon you. May His protection be upon your children, your loved ones, your husband. And let's continue praying for our country. Let's continue speaking and believing for our country. As long as there's people like you, as long as there's people who can stand up for this country, there's hope for this country. And I'll say, anyone who's listening and anyone who's watching, start where you are. I've been telling people, start being involved in the school governing body. Start right there. Start in your community. You don't need to be in parliament to do something. Start in your community there. Be active there. Let our communities come together again and deal with whatever that we are facing. Patricia, I'm going to sing this mic to you, say whatever really this is it. Thanks a gazillion times for your time, the hours we have spent here. I believe and I can promise you they have not gone to waste. This was worth it. As I swing this mic to you now.
Thank you. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to also come and clarify my story here on your show. I really appreciate it.